Alright lads, so today over on Bleach Assault Resonance, not only did we get the new character release, that being an SSR playable Gin, a full Assault Thrust type unit, a character we've already showcased on the channel today, a very fun character by the way, not entirely needed if you already have Ikaku. Obviously Gin is a better character, but if you are more inclined to summon for future characters, now is a good time to potentially skip and start saving. But alongside Gin, we also do have a few events to talk about today, as well as news that we did get, which we already knew, but we did get more information regarding that, is that Rangiku was unfortunately delayed. And with that, if you haven't already claimed it, you do get 2,000 free Spirit Jades. Very, very generous compensation, I will be honest. But what we also did find out today is that not only are we getting Rangiku for free alongside the 2,000 Spirit Jades whenever she can be available, we are also getting it at max boundary ascension and also her fully ascended weapon stamp. That is even more generous, absolutely crazy, and definitely does make me feel less bad now. Actually, I don't feel any type of regret summoning for Gin. Because that's the whole reason why this compensation is as generous. Because people wanted to summon for Gin alongside getting duplicates of Rangiku. And if they just added Rangiku into the banner after a week, everyone that summoned would feel kind of like they wasted Spirit Jades, even if she is just an SR character, because you do want to unlock the SR character's boundaries. In particular, this is what Rangiku's dupes do offer, and the most important one, I would say personally, is her second boundary, which again, everyone is going to have access to, as she does offer extra element damage, upwards to 20% of her element damage bonus. And then in regards to Rangiku's weapon stamp, every time an enemy is hit by her Ash Blade, which I believe is going to be her technique, they do receive more thrust damage. At base, it stacks up to around 12%, but obviously now that we are going to get it max ascended, it's going to be even higher. So a really good support unit that is coming to the game, an SR that is completely free, which is really cool. Right now, we just don't know when she will be available. Hopefully soon though. But with that, with the release of Gin, we also have a few things to talk about. So the first thing that we are going to have is the Lurking Ground. In total, you are going to get 1,050 Spirit Jades alongside some extra items. And this is where we also can get the free SR Uryu skin. If you've played past events before, you should be very familiar with this. It's just something you go in, do daily. You don't have to use Gin, but you can if you have him. But keep in mind, they do give you limited time characters for you to use them in case you are somewhat new or don't have access to the characters they potentially want you to use. Of course, they are going to be weaker compared to the actual main character if you own them, but they are good for those that do lack options. And you do definitely want to have them in your team because you do get a damage bonus. Every time you do clear this quest, you are going to get rewards, and then this does go up to around 12,000, I believe. Up to 10,000. It does cap out at 24,000 score, so you have a reason to go forward, but after that, it's just 10k gold. Which, you know what, with how much gold I need in this game, I'm not even going to complain about this. I just see it as extra, because we're all going to finish the event relatively quick, especially with the fact that it is here for 3 weeks. So let's quickly go ahead and clear the event. This is my final run for the day. Now, this is the team that we are going to use throughout the entire video. It's a super fun team, I will be honest. Gin and Aizen make for a very crazy duo. Unfortunately, it's a duo you're not going to use much in content where you're restricted to one type, but when you are doing events like this, for example, it goes relatively well. And that was actually super fast. Granted, though, we are level 90, and we are currently only on day number 1. You only can do 3 a day, by the way. But for the most part, you're going to get like 1,000 points a day. You can finish this in less than 10 days. Alongside the daily battle, though, we also do have the Deadzone challenge, so an additional event that you can do. This is also, in a way, going to be a daily event. From the looks of it, each event is going to be structured differently. So the first one is Suppression, which is all about doing continuous attacks. Tomorrow, we're going to want to evade traps. The day after, we're going to have abnormal damage, avoid attacks, then also block enemies. So it's not an event you're going to go in and brute force away. You kind of have to work around the challenge, which I think is kind of cool. Changing up the gameplay. With this is where you are going to get most of your Spirit Jade rewards. And then during certain challenges, if you meet certain milestones, you're also going to get more corridor keys, up to 5 in this particular part. So you can see right now the goal for this challenge is to reach 300 combo, while ourselves not taking more than 30 hits. Given the nature of this event too, you definitely do not need to bring a certain set of characters. There might actually be better options for you to use instead of using Gin and also Aizen, for example, because we did talk about it earlier today. Gin does have like a crazy hit count, but we should be fine. For the most part, you just use any character you want. I don't think there's any ranking events tied to this. That does hit quite a few times, though, to be fair. So right now, we want to get 300 hits. Let's switch to Aizen. Aizen should hit a lot, right? Not too much, to be fair. I'm not sure what character would hit the most. But I kind of want to stay on Aizen right now just to build up his Kyokusugetsu. And also Hado 90. Here we go. Should hit a few times. I think there's only one enemy left, unfortunately. Is it just this enemy? Okay, now more spawned in. Might as well use our ult. And then this should be the finisher. Right? 300 hits. There we go. This wins. Does it not? Are we done? Why is it still going? Okay, it's a bit of a weird one. So this is basically infinite. There's no end goal in a sense that the enemies just keep respawning. But during this time, you do want to make sure you hit at least reach 300 combo. And that's it. So in this case, I don't think there is an end goal because it says defeat as many enemies as possible. So now we kind of just have to stall out time. That's kind of annoying that we have to, stall the whole time here. But it's fine. I'm just not going to use any abilities here. I'll just keep parrying or counterattacking this enemy just to keep the time going. If we use any special attack animations, it's going to start freezing the time, So yeah, a bit awkward that you have to basically wait for the timer to finish, even though you've already completed the challenge technically. But while in that quest, you also do want to keep in mind your strongest hit, because that is how you are going to get the extra rewards. In this case, you want to get 300,000 damage in a single hit. If you've been playing since launch, that should be relatively easy to do. So yeah, for the most part, Lurking Ground is basically a daily event. You have the daily battle and also the Deadzone challenge. After that, though, we then have the Void and Destruction. Really cool name for an event, by the way, Grimmjow and also Ulquiorra. This is going to be the ranking event of the month, I guess you can call it. And there are going to be 2 ranking events, one against Grimmjow and one against Ulquiorra. Like always, this is where you are going to get the unique title. If you rank in the top 100, you get the Godslayer Blades. That sounds really cool. But if you do rank in the top 3, you do get the dynamic title. So for those that are maybe wailing out there, you might be able to get that. And then you also do get the stamp next items too. When it comes to the Ulquiorra one, what is the title called? The Dance of Hyappu Zanshi. No idea what that's about, but okay. I guess it's related to Gin. Cool. So we have 2 ranking events going on. One is going to start in a few days once the Ulquiorra fight is available. Now, this event in total is going to give 1,000 Spirit Jades. You're going to get Stamp Nexus items, but you also do get access to the Gin and Rangiku bond set, which is a very good bond set to get. Something you definitely want to get day 1 if you are playing with Gin. Because obviously it is custom built for a character like Gin. As you'll see here, it increases his technique damage, which is one of the main ways Gin is going to deal damage. If you have both, it goes up to 32%, and then when your element damage is equal or higher than 150%, you will then gain an extra 40% element damage bonus. That is also really, really good, and something maybe even Kaname wants to use. And with Gin's stamp set, that should be relatively easy to get. Currently, I'm at 186. I think you have to be a little bit lucky to get over 150, because one of my stamps do give 20, the second one also gives 30, and then my third stamp set is giving 68% with the extra 20, but I can take it even further if I was to, 6-star that stamp. So actually, to get above 150 might take a little bit of RNG. A good stamp set just to get above that, and it's definitely worth it because you then pick up an extra 40%. So Ulquiorra will be available in a week, but right now we do have access to the Grimmjow fight. Now, the way this event is going to work is very similar to the Gin boss fight that we did have when Toshiro was new, where in a way you want to get as high as a score as you possibly can. And with that, you are going to pick mechanics to give you more points. In the case for Grimmjow, there are fixed mechanics, so this one is going to have him be at level 80. He takes 80% less damage from non-thrust and spirit type characters, so do be wary of that. If you summon for Toshiro and also Aizen, you can just use them. And then in Form of Destruction, Grimmjow will enter his second phase, and then Sosuke Aizen, Gin, and Kaname deal 20% more damage to the enemy. And then the second one is going to be the enemy mechanic. In this case, there are 12 slots that you can use to fill up, and each mechanic that you do go for, depending on how difficult it is going to make the boss fight, it is overall going to give more bonus points. So with the 12 that I currently have selected, the 12 I have access to, I am going to get a 245% final score increase. And then lastly, you have the character mechanics, which is bust for your character. Since I'm mainly reliant on Gin here, I'm choosing to go with element damage because that is one of the main ways that Gin is going to deal damage. But honestly, go for whichever one you like. If you're using Aizen, you can go with battlefield skill damage. You can do technique. I think most of them are actually pretty good besides this one, as you only get a crit rate boost for the first 15 seconds, which isn't that good. So before attempting this quest, my best record was 180,000. I didn't realize it at the time, but I was using the free Gin. So I guess take that as an example that you can still get a decent-ish score for the time being. Using the Trial Gin, I just didn't realize I had the wrong one selected. But you do get access to characters that you can use in case you don't have those new characters, which is something that I always appreciate, even if I am pulling for every character. So right now, this is a team that I am liking. I think it probably is the best team that you can bring for this event, because Gin is going to be dealing a lot of damage. Aizen is also dealing a lot of damage, especially if you dupe him out. So let's see how this does go. I need to quickly turn on my controller, and let's see how much damage we can do. So hopefully we can get off our ultimate. Sometimes Grimmjow does like to dodge it a few times. We're going to go to Gin, use our basic attack. And then special attack until our technique is ready. There we go, let's charge it up. Just stay on Gin for a little bit. Then use Shinzo. Or Butu Renjin. And then now let's go to Aizen. Maybe I should have done Aizen faster. But as you see, the idea is that you want to just deal as much damage as possible. And by doing that, once you reach certain milestones, you let the quest go on longer. It adds to the timer, essentially. Let's make sure we dodge that, though. Keep our boost going. So yeah, it's pretty much as a damage event. Go in, go out. And just see how much score you can get. Nice, we do actually break his guard. Lovely. Just in time, too, because we can activate our Halo 90. Oh. That was a bit weird. Let's let it off. Some good damage right there. Let's go to Kisuke. Keep the boost going. Back to Gin. And then let's charge up the technique. Back to Aizen. Then we'll use our ult. So we have a minute to go right now. Good time in the rotation thus far, because Kisuke's ult is just about to wear off. We'll use our special attacks. Now, one thing I'm really liking with Gin and Aizen is that Gin can do a lot of damage. So he easily fills up Aizen's gauge. As you can see there, already full. Very rare you're not going to be able to get Aizen's full suppression gauge off when doing attacks like this. 900k, a bit on the lower end, to be fair. We'll keep it going. Now we'll switch. Finish up with the Aizen. Good damage right there. And then let's just keep the rotation going. We have 46 seconds. Potentially more time to add once we do a bit more damage. Okay, looking good right now. Charge it up. Luckily, thus far, I've not wasted any of my charge effects. Alright, stage 4, so we get extra 10 seconds. So every stage gives an extra 10 seconds, basically. It's how this works. Back to Gin. Charge it up. Can we parry? There we go. Well, now it's all, I guess. Probably didn't need to do that. I should have probably waited for Aizen's ult to go first. 900k, it's alright. Back to Aizen, though. Let's see if we can still actually build up the suppression gauge from default, from base to max, just using Gin's technique. Get the pelt off. Okay, nice. Really do like the weapon stamp that he does. Yeah, look at that. Instantly. Max. Who would have thought Aizen and Gin would be a crazy duo? It's nice that they are, though. I will be honest. So let's let off that attack just before the suppression gauge does return. 4.5 million. We're looking good right now. We can maybe get 10 more seconds, potentially. Not actually too sure. Impel goes off. Back to Aizen. Unfortunately, missed that. That's kind of annoying. Slow this down a little bit. Back to Kisuke. And then back to Gin. Fortunately, it does feel like we're going to get the ult off. Crap. I messed up. We were supposed to do the charge effects. I mean, to be fair, I don't think we'll get any further than that. So how many points does that get me now? 170k. I did better with the trial character? Really? Huh? Well, there you go. Maybe you can just use the trial characters. How did I do less? Regardless, though, I'm actually not sure if I did use the trial character or not, but I did get 1.8 million. And the score that you do get is important. So for the most part, I believe you want to get 800,000 points in each respective boss fight challenge. Ulquiorra and also Grimmjow. With that, that's how you are going to get all the rewards. The max reward technically is going to be the 1.5 and 2 million, but you can get that right now depending on where you are at in the game or depending if you own Gin or not. So if you are wondering how are you going to get to 2 million points, I could be gladly wrong here, but I'm pretty sure it's going to take Grimmjow's score and then also Ulquiorra's score. So if you get a million on Grimmjow's boss fight, a million on Ulquiorra's boss fight, you should overall be able to get every single reward possible. You don't need to get 2 million in one, it should obtain 2 million points in total. But individually, which to get 2 million you're going to have to do, you do need to get 800,000 points. So, relatively easy. I'm pretty sure you can do that again with just the free test trial characters. But keep in mind, you are going to get access to more mechanics that are going to give you more points. You unlock one after day 3, one after day 5, and there are some challenges to use Kaname, for example, which I personally need to do and should do. That we want to get a certain number of points on the Ulquiorra fight, and then again, there are these challenges too where you need to use a specific mechanic. So make sure you are doing these because you potentially are missing out on rewards to points from these mechanics that you can potentially unlock. But either way, that's the video for today. A recap on all the events that we did get today. A lot of fun stuff came out today alongside, of course, the SSR character, that being Gin. But basically, we have 2 new daily events. We have the Lurking Grounds, a daily battle quest where you want to get 24,000 points over the course of 20 days. And then every day you are going to get access to a new Deadzone challenge. And then, of course, we also have access to the Void and Destruction. Right now, we have access to the Grimmjow fight. And then in a week, we are going to have access to the Ulquiorra boss fight. Didn't mention it, but also, of course, there is going to be a daily login bonus. And then, yeah, while it is unfortunate, Rangiku has been delayed, it seems like they are making up for it 100% by just giving us more rewards. 2,000 Spirit Jades, and then a max boundary Rangiku, and a max ascended weapon stamp. That's more than I would have got with the summons that I did today for Gin. And in a way, even though, of course, Rangiku is designed for Gin, if you don't care about Gin, you can skip him, and now you have a maxed out Rangiku. That's something you wouldn't have had if, you know, Rangiku was in the banner. So, really cool compensation. But yeah, either way, let me know what score you guys did get in the comments below. Until next time, take care and peace.